Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to the Elder Scrolls of Guild and Coin. Today I am joined by Reven as the Dirty Dancer Julinak.
Hey, Orc Daddy is back.
Joined by our little lightning rod, Zoe Meowstrom.
That's me.
Joined by our murder machine, Zira.
Yo.
The murder machine.
And our lovely mad scientist, Amrit.
Hello, hello.
And plastic surgeon.
Yes.
That just plays into
They're
it.
not mutually exclusive.
Both were horrifying.
So where we left off last time, we had interacted a bit with Zira's god, before traveling on and running into a bunch of basically anime fanboys for a certain Dunmer adventurer, quote unquote adventurer named Narsis Dren. They spent some time in the camp with our fanboys before being asked to seek out the Exile Barrow, where Narsis Dren was rumored to be doing yet another delve. And so the group went out, saved the people who went out seeking out Narsis Dren by shaming them back into returning to camp, and then met the underwhelming Narsis Dren. So you guys traveled deeper into the tomb, fought a few dead people, and you guys are now being asked if you want to go further into the tomb, where more hidden treasures may be located.
Yes.
Just as a reminder, the room that you guys are in has 3 intact pillars. Next to each of them is an old Nordic sarcophagus out of which the dead people sprung forth, and you guys had dispatched. There's kind of a pit of gnawed bones in the center of the room, which you realized were gnawed on by skeevers, who kind of left the room shortly after you arrived. There is a solid wood double door to the west that you guys haven't really interacted with, and you can see in the architecture that there must be kind of a passage heading to the east, but it's blocked by rubble from a portion of the room that has collapsed. And to the south, there is another corridor heading into possibly another chamber, or maybe another passageway. You guys haven't explored it yet.
I'm just the muscle, so alright, brainy peoples, lead the way.
I'm the one who has muscles.
The muscle family shouldn't fight.
That's true. Like, do you remember like that scene in like Full Metal Alchemist where like, what's his name again? Armstrong and that one other guy like flex each other their muscle as like a sign of friendship.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
That was one of the best scenes in the entire show.
It was, yes. Anything involving Armstrong, all of the family members except for like the dumbass sister, was like the best scene in Full Metal Alchemist.
Armstrong's just the best character.
I got all the notes that I wanted from this room, right?
Yeah, there wasn't too much that you could really note take on. A lot of it is fairly generic Nordic material. Did you investigate the bodies at all, or
I think
the dead Draugr?
I think we did. I don't remember.
Yeah, I thought we did.
Yeah, and then another question of note. Bob, did you end up killing the Draugr that Amrit reanimated? I can't remember.
Yes, he's dead.
Okay.
He did.
Well, he was standing there looking all confused, and she like gestured at it, and no one responded. Was doing that, so I killed it. I was like, better safe than sorry. I have no idea what the fuck it's doing.
True.
Can
Narsis.
I search for any?
Go ahead.
Can I search for anything of value in the room? Or has everyone already checking it?
Sure, if you'd like.
Okay, what did I roll for?
I won't even say that you necessarily have to roll. Most of the stuff in the room is fairly decrepit, but you do find 10 gold on like total off of the Draugr.
Ooh, neato.
Yeah.
All
in
right,
the mysterious way in which Tamriel, like across centuries, somehow only has septums, even if the bodies predate. Even if the bodies predate the septum dynasties. So, Narsis actually looks rather excited. That was quite fun, my good friends. Now, shall we head further and deeper into this perilous tomb? I see a wonderful book being written in.
Amrit looks at the book that he's currently writing in. Before looking up. Sure.
My novel of your exploits in this tomb shall be remembered for generations to come.
So I just want to say that Zoe is kind of uncomfortable being in this tomb and going deeper in it, but she's also super excited. She's got like her hands just like shaking them excitedly, like, oh, I'm going on an adventure with Narsis Dren, but this is a really bad situation. So Zoe's actually going to go up to Amrit because that's our dead person knowledgeable extraordinaire, and Zoe's going to be like, hey, can I be on your head again?
You might not want to be on my shoulders due to low ceilings, but you can ride my back.
Yes, please.
Eventually, we're just gonna get one of those baby carriers.
Piggyback ride.
One of those little baby carriers like you get for toddlers.
Yep. He needs it's easier for you to get on him because he is much taller than you.
You should grab her by like the scruff of the neck.
No.
Why do you guys object to that? I thought cats love that.
You're not my mom. So Zoe's going to go ahead and take a nice seat on Amrit's backpack.
Okay.
Be look out. Because if you're going in a tomb, the safest person to be next to is the professional dead guy, Razor. I can't think of the word for it.
You guys don't know he's like for sure a necromancer, but he seems very comfortable.
Well, undead popped out of a tomb, looked at you, you looked at it, and then it went from trying to attack you
and looked at your room.
True. That's true.
That makes you the safest person to be around.
Yep.
And I think Zira kind of knows because you guys had that whole exchange of personal histories.
Yes.
So.
That's fair.
Yeah. But the rest of the party.
The one member in the party who can make the spooky things do something else.
I can make the spooky things do something else too. It's called dead.
So.
Deep dead.
So what would you guys like to do? You've pretty much scoured this room.
Let's go west.
Well, I mean, is there anything else? Okay. Is there anything else more value in the room?
No, not really.
Only the knowledge that is pasted on the walls.
in the bas reliefs all over the walls.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so somebody said west?
I did.
Okay. So there's right there on the west there's like this large arched wooden double door. And yeah, it's currently closed. You know, who's to know what's beyond?
I want to listen to the other side.
You place your pointy ear up against the door, and you don't hear anything.
I also put my ear on it because he's leaning that way.
You put your fuzzy ear on the door. You don't hear anything.
That's where I put my stickers. Okay.
That's a good sign in a tomb.
Does anyone else want to listen to this before I open it?
Open it.
I open it.
Yeah.
Okay. You try to open the door, and it doesn't move.
Oh, like it's barred from the other side?
That would be a reasonable thought, yeah.
Alright, I walk over to the east door.
That one is buried in rubble.
The south door?
That one's open.
Okay, there we go.
We did it. We found the door.
Yay!
You solved my door puzzle.
I got my directions mixed up.
Alright, so you guys head through the doorway and come out on wooden scaffolding. The northern side of this building, or not building, this room, you are able to look out over a large, like, the ceilings are 50 feet high, and you guys are up about 20 feet above the floor. And there are a set of stairs kind of leading down to that main floor. Whereas, as you can see across the room, there's another wooden mezzanine at the southern end, and that one also has a set of stairs, but the stairs have kind of rotted and crumbled on that one.
Why does it have to go further down?
We gotta go deeper.
When you say that, Narsis turns to you. Not to worry, my little friend. The further down a tomb goes, the greater the riches.
That's what they all say before they die.
You're so smart, Narsis.
I'm making notes of places to possibly kill this asshole on our way back up.
This would be a good spot.
Jordan has
there-
like don't already know this guy, so but if there's riches, he pretty much would go for it.
Yeah. So there are also 4 large stone block columns. Each one is kind of depicting a different story in bas reliefs. And they're not centered in the room like the pillars from the previous room are. They're kind of offset toward the west, with 2 kind of wider, with another 2 about 25 feet further, kind of more narrower. Almost as if like creating like this, almost like a visual framing for a large stone door on the western side of the room.
So all these pillars. So we have to go down before we get to the pillars, right?
That would be correct, yeah.
Okay, and these look sturdy enough?
Yeah. Narcissus takes one look at the room, and you actually see his eyes widen and a smile breaks out. Not to worry, I am indeed the lead adventurer on this expedition. And he charges forward and walks down the set of stairs. And he starts kind of like narrating his discovery as if he's trying to think of the best way to phrase it in his book. And he kind of practically charges up toward the pillars to get a good look at them.
Please fall into a trap. Please fall into a trap. Please fall into a trap.
Which kind of spooks Skeever, which ends up kind of running, and you see the string of rope that's strung between the pillars, and the Skeever runs through what was almost like a tripwire, and one of the oil lanterns on that rope drops down to the ground and lights a bit of oil that was on the stone floor, which kind of rages for a few seconds before it burns away and kind of dies down. And the skeever runs over toward the scaffolding in the south.
Can I?
Zoe clutches the backpack even tighter when the fire hits the floor.
I
Her
want to.
tail floofs up.
Can I grab Narsis and kind of pull him back just a
Push him.
little, and tell him to be quiet and move slowly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
What?
I said yes, you can.
I would like to do that.
Over near the southern scaffolding, there is kind of an old work table, with some items on top of it and such. But I'm guessing you're more interested in the pillars.
Indeed.
Okay. Each one kind of depicts a different story in the bas reliefs, and kind of at about shoulder height. Each column has a like a hexagon about a foot wide, kind of carved out of it. And when you take a look inside, you see that there appears to be a heavy iron chain inside that kind of follows up the length of the pillar, to kind of the top, which kind of has been carved to look like a dragon. So the chain comes out of the mouth of the dragon and then disappears into a small hole in the living rock of the ceiling.
How small of a hole?
It's too small for you to be able to climb through, and
Dang
even then it's 50 feet up. So
Climb the train!
Gotta do a reverse fireman.
What happens if you pull on the chain?
Oh shit.
you can try.
Typically, when you pull on a chain, a door opens.
I'm going to pull on the chain.
Which
Nothing
one?
happens.
Going to be really gentle.
Nothing happens.
Does the chain even move?
Nope.
Okay, so it's stuck.
Narsis sees the stone doors, and gets super excited and kind of rushes over to take a closer look at it. And it's got like this menacing dragon's face carved into it.
Ooh, so scary.
So it kind of looks like the doors themselves open into the mouth of the dragon. He goes, I know exactly how to get this open. Clearly this is a puzzle door. And he goes over and pushes on a part of the stone bas relief on the door, and nothing happens. He's like, this usually works. You know, most Nordic rooms kind of have all of these different bas reliefs, and it's usually some key figure in the story being told that, like, if you press a particular part, usually like their weapon, that'll open the door almost every time. I guarantee it. And he starts kind of fingering all over the door, trying to find some button.
Was there a chain on on all three of the pillars, or just the one?
All four.
All four. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any difference between the top of the four pillars?
No, they're all kind of carved in the same way.
And they all have dragon heads on top?
Yeah. Which kind of makes sense. The legend you heard regarding this tomb was in regards to a dragon priest, so
Oh god.
it makes sense that there would be dragon motifs all over the place.
The dragon priest got locked up, right?
What's that?
Is this the tomb of the dragon priest, or did he get locked up and then entombed here?
According to legend, he traveled westward, ending up in Wrothgar, and was buried here.
Okay.
So according to the legends, this is where that dragon priest is buried.
Why don't we try pulling all four chains at once?
I have dibs on this one.
have a bad feeling about this, but sure.
Zoe's just gonna like grab onto one of the chain that she was already messing with.
Alright.
Okay.
Let your
Juliak says,
30
like,
pounds weigh down on it.
I'm trying.
Juliak, like, kind of, like, questions, like, is this really safe?
Yes,
Are
No.
you sure about that?
it's
Because-
fine.
No.
The worst that happens is we activate a trap, and I'm not worried about it.
Narcissus is closest to the
okay.
door anyway.
Right? Like, all right, buddy,
It's
stand
fine.
here, and we're gonna stand over here, and we're gonna see if a trap happens. All right? All right.
Alright, so...
Fireball, he dies, and we're like, well, that was anticlimactic.
Alright, so I will grab one of the chains as well.
I will grab a chain.
And then I'll grab the last one.
Okay. So you guys pull and the chains don't move.
Okay.
Dang it.
Should we tie the chains to something? Do they go somewhere?
No, they're inside the stone columns. So if you think of the stone columns as being like these large stone blocks with a very small shaft kind of carved into them that the chains are running through. And then coming out of the top of these stone blocks and then going into those dragon heads at the top. At the top of the ceiling. So
Can
I thought they were going out of the dragon's head like bleh.
Joshua,
Yeah.
can I also, like, notice anything that's, like, kind of out of place or, like, something that might help us?
go ahead and do a perception check.
Alright.
May I also make a perception check?
Yes,
As
you may.
the chain did not work, I'm gonna start hunting around.
Okay.
I want to look at the workbench.
Okay.
I'm gonna climb back onto Amrit's backpack.
I got 14.
Okay.
21.
Okay. So Zira,
Yes.
you start wandering kind of along with Amrit, and you get up to the workbench, where you find that there is an ancient journal, sitting on the workbench, but you don't recognize the language that is written in it.
Give it
I
to the
pick it up
nerd.
and I tap Amrit's arm. Not tap. I like kind of smack his arm like pretty hard, like right on the elbow, the funny bone area. Just, like, just enough for his arm to go tingly. Go like ah. And then I hand it.
Meanwhile, Chilinak, you're kind of inspecting these chains a little bit, and you do see that, like, kind of at just the right angle, like, you're practically doubled over trying to see upward into the column. But it does look like these chains are connected to some kind of tumbler locking system.
Oh, it's like
Tumblr. Do
Yeah.
we have social media in this?
Well, tumbler is in, like, the inside of a lock. Only instead of
Yeah,
the
I
lock
know.
being internal for the store, it looks like the tumblers for the lock are these individual pillars. So, Amri, I would like you to go ahead and do an intelligence, possibly even a history check.
I am so good at that. I'm okay with this. Yes, you were saying?
And what languages do you know again?
I know Tamrielic, Altmaris, Aldmaris, Yoku, Tagara, and Basmeri.
That is a lot of languages. Okay.
He's like all of them. Nat 20, nice.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
So you recognize the language immediately. It is ancient Nedic. However, from your studies in regards to Skyrim's history and stuff like that, you're able to kind of piece together bits and pieces of the of what the author was explaining. From what you can tell, the book was penned by the artist who was commissioned to create the bas reliefs in the room. And in it explains that the door was made with a mechanism which unlocks when the proper keystones are placed in each of the pillars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said this was in what language?
Ancient Nedic. So you don't know the language. You're able to put it together. You're able to put together the main gist, based off of the current, the current language of Skyrim.
I am totally pocketing this journal to work on that language later.
Yeah.
Hand it to me and I'll put it in your backpack.
I'll perfect. Do your best. All right, so I kind of announced to the group that we need to find the stones that go in the pillars.
Okay.
What do they look like?
They're probably hexagonal.
Okay.
No, I think they're rhombus.
I must start looking around.
Yeah.
Particularly on the workbench.
You don't see a whole lot else in the room, like some empty like cups and bowls and stuff from ancient times.
Are they nice cups and bowls?
Not
I find the
not
spots
really.
on the pillar where the keystone thingies should go.
Mm-hmm.
So I can kind of see what shape we need.
All four of them are hexagonal openings.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was paying attention.
But yeah. So
I started looking for hexagonal shaped thingies that would fit in the hole.
go ahead and do a perception check for me.
22.
You find nothing that resembles the keystones. You do, however, find a nice, like a fairly intact ancient Nord dagger.
Ooh. Yeah, hold on to that.
Basic dagger stacks or basic dagger stats. But
That's perfectly fine.
But it looks pretty.
More daggers.
More daggers.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to that other room and start trying to move the rubble away from the door, so we can get into that one.
Okay. Anybody else would like to do anything?
I leave the safety of the backpack.
Going off by yourself. Proud of you.
Well, now I have to find these keystones, and I'm not getting any younger.
That's fair.
I admire your spirit, little one. Here, allow me to join you. And Narsis follows you out of the room.
I also go with, just to be sure, that he isn't going to kill her in the dark.
Why would Narsis Dren ever do that?
What did you say was that the south wooden thingamabobber led to?
For it also leads to kind of a doorway leading up toward or a doorway up about 20 feet above you. However, go ahead and do an investigation check for me.
I will happily do that. Investigation. That would be an 18.
So you actually find a small entryway that the skeever had used to get out. It's a small, like 5-foot passageway that kind of it looks like it leads further into the tomb.
I need someone small.
Oh, fuck.
Chloe, their time is up.
Small ones have left.
You could go get one of the small ones. Tell us to come back.
Julianak,
Yes.
would you get a small one? I don't care which.
Wait, like a small like item or small as in Zoe?
Zoe or Zara. Either.
Alright.
Because Zera's only 4'7".
Wait, which one of you are tinier? Zoe, how tall are you?
I'm like 3 foot.
Zoe is tiny.
Okay, Zoe, you're going.
Zoe is tinier, but Zira, I am less worried about going through a hole by themselves.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what's happening yet, so I can't roleplay anything yet.
I mean, well, Jordan could tell you in character, like, Zoe, how tall are you?
I'm 3 foot. Why?
Reasons.
Grabs the cat by the scruff and goes back.
No, wait, why? No, let it go.
Vera is like, what? Turns around just to see Julianak like scruff Zoe and walk
I'm
away.
gonna scratch you. Let me go.
I can just picture Julianax kind of holding Zoe out at arm's length as she's sitting there, kind of like swinging her paws around, trying to claw at him.
Let me go, or I'll zap you.
Bad kitty. Bad kitty. Do
I'll
not
zap
claw.
you.
Okay,
Unhand me, you brute.
Vera follows them back because she doesn't give a shit what Gilderoy Lockhart does.
Sarah, help me. Have this brute unhand me.
Dren follows you guys back into
Oh, God.
that large room, and the whole time it's like, that is no.
You're embarrassing me in front of Narsis.
That is an undignified way to treat another adventurer. Unhand my follower. I mean fellow adventurer.
Fuck off, Indianapolis Jones.
Don't call him that. His name's Narsis Dren.
I don't give a shit on who he is. All right.
He
You got a solution, and
pauses.
you are-
He pauses, smiles at you, Zoe, going, "Oh, please, just Narcissus."
Shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna scratch Julianak to let me go, though.
Do you put her down when you get back to Amrit?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Zoe.
What was this about?
Oh, Zira falls
Did you
back.
have to grab me by the scruff?
Zoe.
You're just so tiny.
There is
I
a
can just
hole.
easily carry you.
That's no reason to do that. I can walk.
There is a hole that someone needs to go through. And you and Zira are the only small ones in this party.
What's in the hole?
I do not know. I assume it leads deeper in and potentially to a way to unlock the door.
Or to dead things. Who knows?
How did you find
We
this
might get some
hole?
benefit out of it.
How did I what?
How did you find this hole?
It's the hole that the skeever went through.
I don't want to go down that.
Yeah?
What if the skeever tries to bite me?
Oh, then
You're
shock it.
Zira just looks at you. You're a cat. It's a rat.
You're a cat.
But what if there's like a lot of them? You've
You'll
never
be
been
fine.
cornered by a bunch of rats before. They
You'll
get
be
really
fine.
mean.
Zoe, you'll be fine.
Do you want me to go with her?
Come with me. We'll go
Can you guys
together.
even fit? Can you guys even fit down there together? I think that would be a little crowded.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
can.
it's
One right after the other.
We make a train. A small train.
A small train.
Small
The
choo-choo.
train of the smalls. And us
Um,
giants will just like chill out.
so who goes first, Zoe or Zira?
Well, I can't see in the fucking dark, so I assume her.
Yeah, I'll have to go first, and then just like if something happens, I'll just use cat physics to whip it away.
Either that or somebody needs to put a light thingy on me.
I have to spell light.
That
Like
would
the
be it.
cantrip light.
That would do it.
Okay, so what is it? Yeah, I got the cantrip light. Do I have to like roll anything for that? And Josh?
No, it's just a cantrip. You cast light, and
Okay.
you end up having a nice little light.
Yeah,
Put it on
yeah.
my dagger.
Yeah, put it on something
Alright.
concealed.
Okay, so Joynak goes through there like, let me see your dagger, and you light magic on it. What kind of color would you want it to be?
Red.
Alright, red.
It's actually a pretty smart decision.
Like a flare.
for-
You actually got a flare on you.
Well, no, because Zira being human, humans actually pick up red wavelength fairly well, so it's actually good for night vision to have red illumination as opposed to white or yellow or anything like that.
Also,
Learning real
other
knowledge
animals
today.
don't tend to be too startled by red light, whereas blue or white light will fucking alert the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Also, red is cool. It makes
But also makes your knife look like it's like illuminating blood.
So
Well,
you two scramble through the hole, and you find that the most of the entrance that's kind of blocked is actually just loose rubble. So you're actually able to clear it out easy enough for everybody else to enter. The passage is about 5 feet high and about 5 feet wide.
I thought I was gonna have time to study the door. Oh, wow.
However, once Zoe and Zira start messing with that rubble, 5 more large rat-like skeevers kind of scramble out of the kind of like wooden struts of the mezzanine on that southern side. And I would like I would like everyone who's still in that large room to roll initiative.
We're disturbing. Hey, good news, Zoe. You're safe.
Okay. So wait, like me and Amrit have to like roll initiative?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Where's my initiative?
Probably where the initiative's at.
No, I did like on my laptop and kind of messy. 14. Oh, I should probably type it in.
And then I need to roll initiative for Narsis as well.
For Indianapolis Jones.
Within like 5 minutes of appearing in this game, this guy has gotten so many nicknames.
Well, I don't think
Mostly from me.
Indianapolis Jones. I don't think that's a good nickname for him because it's giving him too much credit.
Fine. Illinois Jones.
Idaho.
Idaho John.
Idaho Jones.
Idaho John.
Idaho John.
Sounds like a stripper name.
Idaho Joe.
It just sounds like someone like, I don't know, Joe. Figure it out.
Do.
Idaho Joe. Oh god.
Sorry, I'm scrolling through the pages for the skeever stats. There we are. Okay. So the skeevers also. Okay. So Julinak, you get to go first.
Yay. Alright, so how many skeevers are there?
5.
5. Okay. I will. I think I'll try, and they're pretty close to us, so I'm assuming that I can hit them with my staff.
Yeah, they're fairly close. They're kind of scrambling out of the woodwork of the mezzanine above you. So.
Okay. I go and like shoot the one closest to me with my staff, or like try to hit it.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attack.
Oh, nat 20.
Nice.
Alright.
So you get to roll the damage dice for the staff twice.
Oh, awesome. Alright, 6 and 5. Or actually, let's see, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so I got 8 for the first damage and 7 for the other damage.
Okay. So you see this skeever, and you kind of reflexively swing your staff and crack it upside the head, and it just goes limp.
Ooh.
Like
a mouth trap.
All right, Amrit.
How close are they to us?
I mean, close enough for Julinak to hit him, so about 5 feet or so.
Okay.
They're like crawling on us.
Okay. I don't want to waste a spell on this, so I'm just gonna stab it with my dagger.
Okay.
Stab it close. Ooh, yeah, 20.
Nice. 2
Yeah.
nat 20s in a row.
Yeah. What are the chances of that?
You guys are going to use up your allotment of nat 20s on skeevers.
I know.
I know.
10.
Don't break me down.
Nice. I love you, D4. 10 damage.
Okay. You stab into the skeever, and it's bleeding profusely, but it's still trying to gnaw at you.
That's fine.
Narsis comes running over from the carved door, going, "Not to worry, my companions, I will save you."
I want to be saved by him.
I'd rather die than be saved by him.
And he runs up toward the nearest skeever, which nearest unharmed skeever, and he hits, dealing a lovely grand total of 6 damage. And now he's squaring off with this skeever. His pose is as if he's facing off with this like massive monster, whereas the skeever is just like this small rat thing, kind of just snarling at him. And then next up will be the skeevers.
How many are there now?
There are 4.
Okay.
So, the first one is going to be the one that bites at the one that's biting at Amrit. For a grand total of an unnatural 20 versus your AC.
That totally hits.
Yeah. And that's going to deal you a grand total of 8 damage. Piercing. The other one is the one fighting against. The other one is fighting against Narsis, and gets a nat 20.
Oof.
Damn.
I hope we get the lead from that.
Dealing 16 damage to him.
Ouch.
Woo! Damn, that's quite the bite.
The other 2 skeevers rush up to Julinak, since he'd managed to take out their brother pretty darn quick. And the first one is going to get an unnatural 22.
Shit. Well, that will hit.
Yeah, for 6 piercing damage.
6 piercing damage? Alright.
And then the other one got an 11 versus your AC.
That will not hit.
Okay. And back to the top of the order with Julinak.
Okay, so 40... oh yeah, sorry. Alright, well, I tried to shoo him away with my staff again, so I roll for that. Yeah, that's the... Let me check. Mission. I got 9.
Okay. That will not hit. You kind of whiff past its head as you're trying to intimidate it out of fighting you.
Swinging my staff around.
I will let you do an intimidation check, though.
Oh, okay.
You are a massive orc with a big stick, so...
I am a massive orc, but I'm a soft orc thing.
I thought you were Mr. Muscle.
I am Mr. Muscle. Let's see. 11.
So the one that you're facing off with actually starts snarling at you even louder.
I snarl back at it.
Amrit?
I would like to cast Magic Missile.
Okay.
Magic missile.
Magic Missile into darkness.
Darkness.
So that's 2 points. And I would like to do something. I forget how much damage they do. Grab my... I think it's a D4.
Yeah, it's a D4. Meanwhile, Zira over in the corridor. But if there are any girls there, I want to do them.
Good God.
What? I mean, maybe.
You back away. Back away from the underage girls.
Hey, I'm an underage girl.
Not for the culture, not for the culture that you come from. 16 is an adult throughout most of Tamriel.
Yes, but I can pass as 12. It's great, which I'm pretty sure Jolinak probably assumes she is. So there's that.
Back away from the underage girls.
So, one magic missile does 5 damage to
Nice. To yours?
To mine.
It impacts, and the skeever goes flying across the room.
Okay. Let's see. I get 3. Okay. So, the second one I want to send Dren's rat because I don't trust him not to die.
Okay. Okay.
Fair.
Also does 5 damage.
Okay. It smacks into the rat, but it's still there.
All right. I'll send the last one over to the stupid rat.
The one that's snarling at Shulanak?
No, Julnak can deal with it.
Jolinak has a stick. Dren is incompetent.
I won't even have you roll damage for that. It ends up taking out the one over by Narsis Dren.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
That's it.
Narcissus. Why, thank you, good comrade. Now on to the rest of these. Pests. And he rushes over toward the rats that are trying to attack Julanak. And
So being an idiot.
Well, I don't know how he is, so he might be okay.
he goes to swing his dagger and misses. The skeevers, meanwhile, attack Julanak. The first one for 9 versus your AC, which is not going to hit.
Yeah, not gonna hit.
And the other one for 12 versus your AC.
That will also not hit.
Okay. Julanak, your turn.
I scared him off. Oh, it's my turn? Okay. I'll try hitting them with my staff again.
Okay.
Alright, so 14.
That will hit.
Nice. Okay, so just one D6.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Yeah, that's just gonna do 2 damage.
Okay. Amrit?
Yes.
It's your turn.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's all good.
Pay attention.
That was actually my bad. I had muted the thing because I was doing some typing and I didn't want to have you guys have a bunch of clickety click click click.
Click, 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 click.
Yep.
How are the skeevers looking?
Pretty well, actually.
Okay. So I think, are they damaged at all?
One of them is. Because Julinak just clobbered it upside the head.
Yeah, I think I'll just do magic missile again.
Okay.
Guys, look at my GIF.
Look at your jizz.
All right.
My GIF.
Oh.
4 damage for one.
Okay.
5 damage for the second.
Okay.
And 3 damage for the third.
All right. One of them is in fact the one that Julinak had clobbered actually looks worse for the wear now. It's now bleeding from its head for one, and its breathing looks like it's a bit ragged, like those almost as if those magic missiles broke a few ribs.
That's what they sound like.
Magic missile, honestly, but I'm doing it.
Narsis is going to try to stab at the one with the broken ribs.
Yes, take the opportunity.
And failed.
Sucker.
Are you surprised?
No.
One of the skeever that doesn't have broken ribs bites at you, Julinak, for 18 versus your AC.
That will hit.
Okay. Dealing 6 piercing damage.
Okay.
And then the other one is going to bite at you for 16 versus your AC.
That will also hit.
Okay. Dealing another 6 piercing damage to you.
Another what?
Another 6 piercing damage to you.
Jesus Christ. All right.
And
okay. I need help.
And then it's your turn.
Okay. Let's see. I am going to freeze for the other rats.
You're gonna do what?
Freeze for the them.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is the effect of Thunderclap. As I pull up Thunderclap. So they and Narcissus all need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Alright, good.
One rat absolutely fails. In fact, that was the one with the broken ribs.
Get wrecked.
The other one succeeded. And then Narcissus also succeeds.
Oh, cool. Kinda.
So go ahead and roll a d6 for the damage to the broken rat.
Okay. D6. Plus what?
Just a straight d6.
Okay, then just 6.
That rat goes flying back into one of the walls, and you hear this like this wet crunch as its spine snaps against the wooden support, and it falls to the ground.
Ooh. That's nasty.
Amrit.
Doing it actually said oh, that's so gross.
Amrit, there's only one skeever left.
Firebolt.
All right.
I'm done playing around. I believe I have to roll a check.
Yeah, I think that's a ranged magic attack.
Yes. Spell attack bonus. Woo! I think that'll hit with a 26.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Okay. I think it's a D10, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
That would be. Do I add my modifier? What's that more?
No, it's a straight D10.
Straight D10? Okay. That would be 6.
Okay. So a good portion of the fire washes over the skeever, and now it's standing there. All of its fur has been charred off. It's also breathing ragged, as if it had inhaled some of the embers.
I'm sorry, it's 2D10.
Oh, you cast it at. Oh yeah, you're higher than 5th level. So go ahead and roll that other D10.
That would be another 7.
Yeah. So retconning that, your wave of fire washes over the skeever, leaving nothing but a charred husk.
Delicious. We got dinner.
However,
Oh God, no! Don't do it.
Oh, don't do it.
odds or evens?
Wait, what?
Even.
Okay. Higher or lower?
Lower.
Okay. Would you like to choose a number?
I would like to pick 7.
Okay. The fire actually goes past, like it takes out the skeever, yes, but ends up hitting the wooden supports behind it.
Fuck.
Oh God.
And so now the mezzanine is on fire.
I try to put it out.
With your cloak, like.
Yeah, I grab my cloak and put it out. You said this was all rotted, though, right?
The stair portion is rotted out, yeah. But I mean, this is a very dry room with lots of very dry ancient wood.
Oh, good. Okay, I put that shit out.
Okay, go ahead and make a nature check for me.
Ooh, 21.
Okay, you're able to put it out before it does too much damage.
It has to set stuff on fire, don't you?
So, as these 18 seconds pass, what are Zoe and Zira up to?
I assume continuing through this little tunnel, unless Zoe has other plans. Where did she go?
Zoe. Zoe.
Zoe.
Zoe. Meow.
There you are. Zoe!
I got distracted by my cat.
The real life Khajiit.
She was so soft and good and she wanted the water. Then I got back over here. But hey,
So, did you want to keep going down?
Skeevers?
Do you want to keep going down the tunnel, or do you want to? What do you want to do?
Let's keep going down the tunnel.
Okay, then Zero keeps following Zoe down the tunnel.
Okay. So you head further down the passage, and as you get further down, you notice that there's a bend in the passage up ahead. Go ahead and do a perception check for me, please.
Okay.
22 again.
Okay.
This pink die really likes 17.
And Zoe, I'll let you make that perception check at advantage since you're a kitty cat who can see in the dark, and also has big kitty ears.
And she got like the laser eyes going on.
Wait, I have red light. If I focus it into a tiny little point, can I play laser dot with a cat?
Yes.
What was that, Zoe?
17, and
Okay.
I would like to play laser.
So you guys kind of hear a little bit of squeaking and rustling down near that bend. You're not quite sure at this distance what they are, or what's making that sound. But if any indication from behind you is there, then chances are there are skeevers up ahead.
What if I just send electricity down the way?
You could.
Can you send Wi-Fi down there?
No. They don't deserve Wi-Fi.
That's a bit rude.
Alright. So lightning bolt's like a line though, right?
Yeah.
So I might need... It's at a bend in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Then I need to get further in. And I'm just gonna whisper to Zira, like, Zira, I'm gonna try to get close. And once I get close, I'm gonna zap them, okay? So don't freak out. And I'm just like, okay, Zira, don't freak out. You don't freak out, I say, as I like nervously start scooching forward.
Zira just like nods.
So as you kind of creep further down the passageway, Zoe, you do indeed see a nest of small skeevers. It looks like they're mostly babies, but your experience on the streets tells you that
babies
even
big mamas, big angry mamas.
Well, even then, the babies shouldn't be underestimated either. So
set them on fire.
Burn the whole place down.
We're in a stone tunnel, thank you. We're not at the risk of burning anything down, unlike some people.
So, would you still like to zap them?
Yes.
Okay.
Rappa the zappa.
Go for it.
Alright, I think they need to make a reflex save of some sort. I need to bring up the page. This is what I get for not having all of my spells in tabs.
Someone was not prepared. You are not prepared. Ugh. Oh, I gotta shift.
So they need to make a dexterity save.
They got a 14 on that.
My spell save is 14.
In this case, player wins.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Go ahead
now
and do
I
your
gotta roll
Durmblage.
my dice and do math. I have to figure out how much of a bonus I get with my rod.
So you set them on fire?
No, she's electrocuting them.
Ooh, are they dead?
I'm still waiting for damage.
33 damage.
33 damage. So you kind of, Zira, you see the cat kind of go further into the passageway and into the darkness a bit. And then all of a sudden, from around the bend, you just see this bright bluish-white light kind of flicker, and that loud, like, electric buzz for a brief moment, before Zoe pokes her head back out from behind the bend, going, "Taken care of."
God, Zoe, you're such a buzzkill.
Yes. Yes. But Zoe's fur is all floofed out, and she's just like, I did it.
I did it. Are you proud of me, Dad?
Let's go.
Zoe, while you're standing over there in the in the flicker of the electricity and everything, you notice 5 gems kind of embedded in the nest.
I want them.
Shinies.
Yeah, you have no problem kind of plucking them out of the refuse and debris and stuff.
Oh,
and
do they look like the things Amrit wanted?
They do not. They look like little malachite gems. And they could probably sell for a bit.
All right, I'm gonna start grabbing them, and I'm gonna be like, Sarah, there was treasure here all along. Narsis was right. The further down you go, the more treasure you find.
Zira rolls her eyes and then comes around the corner to check out what Zoe has found.
Yep, she found a nest, and you see her pocketing some some gemstones.
I'll hand them out later.
The passage continues on for maybe another 10 feet before turning right. And you don't encounter anything else throughout that passage. And eventually it leads to another room. Yeah. So it is a really large room. The walls, when you come out into it, you can see are lined with sarcophagi and urns. And in the middle of the room are 2 large natural stone columns. Meanwhile, where you're standing is up on a kind of like a smaller wooden mezzanine. Looks like at one point this portion was intended to become a normal tunnel, but the skeevers had kind of repurposed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And between the columns, you can see a large stone bas relief carved into a large kind of 6 foot wide by 8 foot tall by 1 foot deep, large, almost black block of stone. So yeah.
Okay. Zira kind of like nudges Zoe and says, "Do you want to check it out, or do you want to get the others?"
Will the others fit down here?
If they crawl.
Is there any sort of... Could you remind me if there are any doors in this area?
There's the one that you just came out of. And it does look like that. It does look like to the west there's another passageway. About 20 feet wide.
Okay. I want to suggest to Zira that we check out that door, and if it doesn't lead to that one corridor that had the 2 doors that they hadn't opened yet, then we should go back to get them, because we'd be going pretty far out without them knowing where we've gone.
Okay.
So you guys are heading...
We go to open that door, if we can.
The 20-foot wide passageway?
Yeah.
Okay. You climb down the steps of the mezzanine into this large room. And as you pass by that large bas relief, you can see on it is a carving showing a person dressed in robes kind of hovering above a stone altar, looking upward toward the sky, while 4 soldiers, like 2 on either side, stand there watching the ceremony. And in front of the carving is a hexagonal stone about a foot in diameter, which has an image of an altar with a dagger carved into it.
Is that the keystone Amrit wants?
Maybe.
Let's grab it.
Okay.
I grab with my beans.
With your beans. Like a bag of beans or your toe beans?
My toe beans, I grab it. No, I just throw some beans at it. That'll work. Amrit won't mind the mess.
All right, so with no problem, you're able to grab the key.
I'm so happy there weren't any traps.
But when you grab it,
Oh no!
3 sarcophagi immediately burst open on that main floor that you're on. And 3 Draugr come walking towards you, weapons drawn.
How close are they to us?
I flip back and forth between the map. They are about 10 feet away.
Do I need to roll initiative?
Both of you do.
You can try and deduce it if you want. Now is your opportunity.
What
No,
are we
those are
doing?
gross. Sierra's ready. With that 19.
Always ready. Draugr at the end of it, right?
Always ready.
How many Draugr?
3.
3 Draugr?
3 Draugr. 1, 2, 3 Draugr.
Excellent.
3 drugs.
Excellent.
This neck. Ugh, I'm hungry.
Zero says, I'll take the 2 big ones, you take the ugly one. And she...
You take the 2 big ones, you take the ugly one.
They're all ugly.
Right? They're all the same size, too.
All right. So then, in that case, Zira, you get first move.
Okay. She's going to move towards the Draugr.
Mm-hmm.
Dropping the glowing dagger so that way it'll still illuminate the room.
Mm-hmm.
And drawing out her 2 blades.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's gonna attack it.
Go for it.
Does an 18 hit?
Yes, it does.
Yay!
Woo.
Nice. For 18 points of damage.
Alrighty.
And I'm gonna attack it again.
Okay.
That'll definitely hit. I got a 19 on the die, so I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, that'll.
Nox is staring at me from his enclosure like, I'm a Durgan, you guys should fight me and I eat all of you.
That will be 14 points of damage.
Okay.
Is it still up?
It is still up.
I'm gonna attack it again.
Okay.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah. That will hit. Uh, 15 points of damage.
How do you kill it?
So she like runs up to it and does like a slash of the leg to kind of like make it all limpy, and a slash like right at its hip to kind of bring it down a little bit, and then she takes its head off with her 3rd strike.
Nice.
And kind of like baps it. Ooh, like in the Mummy where he knocks a dude's head off and it like hits the head.
Okay.
It's like, oh, bam.
All right. Give me one moment. I'm gonna let Nox out because he's doing the thing. So I'll be
Keep
right back.
being whiny.
Going for what? Yeah.
There is now a fierce dragon wandering about my room.
Oh no!
Now he's just looking at me like, why'd you take me out?
hide your treasure.
Like, I want it out as it runs around. The second you let it out, why am I out? Really?
Exactly. Anybody who has a bearded dragon would know the struggle.
It's same with the cats. Let me out, let me out, let me out. You let them out, they're like, oh god, why am I out?
Zoe, is it your turn?
I actually have a question
Mhm.
about a thunder wave.
Mhm.
Does it emit from the person casting it like a line, or is it just like an orb? Because
It's a cube centered
Dang it.
from you. Like from basically from your chest, and it's a cube forward, which is why I keep getting hit when somebody does a particular shout right the F next to me.
But how tall are
How tall are the
they?
Draugr? I mean,
Yes.
average human height.
Because my thought is, I have an ability that I can jump up to 10 feet without provoking attacks of opportunity, and I want to know if I can jump high enough to where I can cast Thunder Wave, and it's over Zira's head.
It wouldn't be over Zira's head, but it would hit both of the remaining Draugr.
And
or
not
you can
Zira?
just move to where you angle it to where it doesn't hit me, because I just killed one. So I'm standing next to a dead.
Yeah.
Right,
Which
we're not
basically-
surrounded anymore.
You're pretty much flanked by the two.
Okay, as long as I don't hit Zira, I'll cast Thunder Wave.
Yeah, so you'd probably
'Cause you don't hit your tunnel, buddy.
yeah, you'd probably run closer to the bas relief before doing it. So go for it. I love this image.
So they need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Is more
Okay.
cautious about hitting party members than Orc Daddy.
Well, if I lose you, then I'll
Hey,
be
you
in
know-
the tunnels alone.
Once again, it's always your guys' fault that you're in the way.
One
I'm a melee fighter. Of course I'm in the way.
Well,
One-
it sucks to be you.
one got a 15 and one got an 11.
All right, I get to hit the 11, and the other one gets half.
Okay. So go for it.
So, luckily, it was on an even number. So, 16?
Okay.
So, one gets 16 and the other one gets 8.
Okay.
I really like the electric damage bonus I get from my staff.
Okay. So you run over, you jump up in the air, and even you guys in the larger room, where the first mezzanines are, you can hear the sound of thunder echoing from further down the chamber. And when you do that, Zoe,
Uh-huh.
Oh no, collapse.
hold on. When you do that, you hear a few more sarcophagi burst open.
Yes.
Oh god.
I mean, no.
Wait, what?
You're the one who's in danger, not us.
And up on the upper level of the mezzanine, you can see, damn it, where'd it go? Two more sarcophagi break open, and two Draugr step out of them wielding bows.
So he cusses.
Right,
Zero looks at you and says, "Take out the archers. I'll get the melee combatant."
How much far up are these archers?
About 20 feet.
Okay. I'll get them. I'll find out how to get them.
Don't you have a range spell?
I don't want to. I used a lot of my magicka already,
That's fair.
but I do have a crossbow if I can angle it right.
Yeah. The two Draugr
Crossbow.
closest to you,
Oh.
Azira,
Yeah.
like one was thrown back and actually had smacked back into its sarcophagus and is now leaving the sarcophagus again and heading towards you. Both of them are going to attack you. One crit misses, so it swings its blade and actually hits its comrade.
Nice.
And the other one doesn't hit you because its swing is thrown off by being hit by its ally.
The asshole who crit missed, I'm gonna hit him
Okay.
as part
So-
of my specials.
Hold on, I need to take care of the crit miss.
Okay.
The crit miss doesn't do any damage. Luckily for that one, but
I crit the crit miss.
Merry crit miss.
Crit miss. For 28 points of damage.
Yeah, you tear it to shreds.
Just one swing as it's swinging to like hit me and misses and hits its buddy. I just like right through the spine.
And it collapses. It is your turn.
Sweet.
Oh wait, yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah, because that's one of my reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So how many are on the same level as me?
One.
Just the one?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's the two archers?
Yeah, they're 20 feet up on the mezzanine.
Okay. Holy shit, that's a big marshmallow.
Did somebody get you a marshmallow?
Yeah, it's a giant marshmallow. Okay, I'm gonna attack the dude in front of me.
Okay.
That will probably hit him, I'm assuming, because it's over 18.
Yes.
15 points of damage.
Very nice. He's not dead.
That will also hit him
Okay.
for 16 points of damage.
How many you said?
16.
Go ahead and describe how you kill him.
So while he's kind of like wheeling back from his friend trying to hit, I take out his legs, and as he's starting to fall, I just like cut down on his throat and pop his head off.
Nice.
She's just like schwap. Can I move to a spot that'll make it harder for the archers to hit me?
Yeah, you could move behind the altar-like thing that the keystone was sitting on.
Okay, I will move there.
Okay. Zoe.
All right, so here are my thoughts. I want to use Boundless Storm, which is my sorcerer ability, to jump 10 feet in the air with a gust of beautiful elemental wind. And then I want to use Lightning Lure, which has a range of 10 feet. And so that makes 20. And I just want to pull one of these archers closer to me. Hopefully
Right off the ledge.
Okay. So
Cinematically, that's amazeballs.
yeah, I was going to say, Sierra rushes over behind the altar, and right as she does that, wind starts swirling about in the room, and Zoe, you jump up, and your fur starts poofing out and just crackling with electricity, and just kind of shooting out here and there, and this electricity pools in your hand as you swing your lightning whip, as it were, at the Draugr. Go ahead
Make a
and
strength save, but I really hope I pull him off, or I'll be embarrassed.
He got a 14.
So yes.
Yeah, and you're able to pull him off. You get a a point of inspiration for that, because that is awesome.
And I get to do some lightning damage to him.
That was glorious.
Yes, I
Very
got
proud.
a max on my big dice. He gets 12 damage.
Okay, and he's pulled toward you. And as you lower back down to the ground, he falls, and he's also going to take some falling damage.
Yeah, buddy.
God.
He's going to take 8 points of falling damage.
Oh no, Narsis is missing this.
That was totally in character too.
Oh, good God.
Zira just like kind of leans back against the altar and sighs as she rolls her eyes.
At first, Zira was impressed, and then she was like, "Oh, still being a fanboy, gross."
Fanboys. Fuck.
So for the Trogger's turn, the one that you pulled down is going to spend his turn getting back up. The other Trogger is going to fire its bow at you, Zoe.
Gross.
22 versus your AC?
That's gonna hit me.
It is going to hit you. And it is going to hit you for 9 piercing damage.
Oof.
Yeah.
My bod.
Zira,
Bad.
I got hit on my bod.
Zira, there's now a Trogger on the ground floor.
Yay! Things for me.
I make them your problem. Weak.
Is that your plan for the other one too?
If I can grab it, yes.
I'm like, take out the archers, and she's like, I'd rather not.
Here you have them.
Presents for you. It's Christmas.
Merry Chrysler.
All right, that will hit him as I run over and slice at this mofo. 15 points of damage.
Nice.
He's still up.
Just barely.
Okay, this will also hit.
As he's trying to get himself up off the ground, like he's still on all fours, you come up and slash with your sword, knocking him over onto his side.
Okay, this next attack hits.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Marge. 12 points of damage.
Describe it for me.
Okay, so as she kicks him over, she's just gonna take the sword and just like right through the top of his head while he's like laying on the ground.
Okay. Its lifeless eyes kind of stare back at you, and all of a sudden, it starts talking to you in Tamrielic. It says, "Congratulations, champion. You have passed the second test. The test of camaraderie." And the Draugr crumbles into dust, revealing another one of those red stones.
Sweet! I pick it up.
Get the Sorcerer's Stone.
Into my pockets!
I like that you get the magic orb of camaraderie while I just pulled monsters down for you to deal with.
And
I fight for my comrades.
there's one more Draugr left, and it is Zoe's turn.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna jump up to grab him like I did the last time.
So awesome.
I'm gonna get him.
Could I have positioned myself after I killed this one, to where if she does manage to pull the other one off of the ledge, that he would
Fly into you?
where I can like just shank him as he falls?
That would be beautiful.
Go for it. You will also get a point. You will also get a point of inspiration for that.
I
So I just need to know if he makes his strength save.
Because at this point, I would have one from every session so far.
Team small for the win.
Yeah, we should get jackets.
Yeah.
Like the varsity jacket that just said Team on it.
Yeah.
MOL. Team small.
Team small. Big
And
murder.
like me and like Amrit can like get like jackets that just say like Team Toll.
Yes.
So, he needs to do a strength check. He fails.
Beautiful. So I hit him with 5 lightning damage, and I just toss him into Zira.
This poor bastard. Okay.
So he's going to take 4 falling damage, and Zira is going to deal the rest.
I can see just Zira being like, I'm open.
Yeah, pretty much. Ooh, nice. 15 points.
Go ahead and roll double that damage for me. I'm gonna have you do it as if you were attacking with advantage.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be 20.
Okay.
Oh, you mean attacking with both blades?
Yes.
Then that'd be 25 total between the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he falls, and you scissor your blades, and he falls in 2 pieces on the ground. The top half of the body is still like it's briefly dazed, and then tries to get closer to you with not really all that much success. It is your turn. You can coup de grace it for insta kill.
Okay. She's just like pop, kicks its head clean off.
In the
soccer match.
in the shadows underneath the mezzanine, for a brief moment, you could swear you saw Wrothgar kind of smiling at you from the shadows.
And she's grinning this whole time. She's like, "This is great."
Zoe's gonna go in for a high five after they're all dead. It's gonna give you a little static shock.
So yeah, that was epic as fuck.
Epic AF.
I was mildly worried I was gonna have to like go alone on this because I was like, "Oh shit, it's me and Zoe in a room with a bunch of dead people." Fuck.
Not like that the first time.
Zoe's a strong warrior. I'm so strong.
It's not like that the first time that's gonna happen, or like the last time it's gonna happen.
This is true. That's why I was like, "We'll see how things go. I can hold back. It's fine."
You know, can you? You're a
I
tiny
can
little
rage
murder
or
machine.
use Hex.
Tiny murder machine.
So back in the first room, with Amrit and Julianek and Narsis, what are you guys doing?
I'm studying war.
Can someone like give me healing?
Oh yeah.
I need healing.
But I'm dying a little. My intestines are now on the outside, and I really think they shouldn't be.
Well, I'm kind of bleeding like quite a lot.
How hurt are you?
Huh? I'm at 22.
Okay. Let's see.
I don't think I can do any healing, nor do I like having healing potions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will go over to Julianek and cast a spell.
Is it gonna hurt?
No.
Yes.
I see that I can see that in character. Like Julianek's like, "Is this going to hurt?" And Amrit's like, "No," and then under his breath, he's like, "Yeah."
Good God. All right, just do what you can, please.
That would be 16 health back.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Narsis.
I am doing quite fine, thank you. Though it's inspiring to see such helpful camaraderie between companions.
Okay, I'm going to give him a high five, but also cast Cure Wounds on him.
Like sneakily, like trying to like.
All right, go.
Behind
How much damage are you healing him for?
14.
Okay.
Your
How much-
high fives make everybody feel better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The power of the high five.
The power of love and friendship.
Zoe and Zira, what would you guys like to do?
We gotta get through that door. I was
So
too busy being grabby.
so that 20-foot
Grabbing hands.
passageway actually doesn't have a door.
No.
It's open.
No.
Oh?
Yeah, it's an open passageway.
Sweet.
Peek my head in it.
It looks like an empty, dusty, cobwebby Nordic passageway.
This isn't what I wanted.
I sheath my blades and pick up the glowy dagger again.
Okay.
I wanted to find my companions, but I think we're in a storage room. I'm gonna start looking at stuff.
It's a passageway. It's a hallway. It goes on for maybe about 30 feet and then turns right for another about 100 before making another left. Yes.
Question.
Answer.
Knowing how the direction we took to come from the tunnel, through the little tunnel, the tiny tunnel, from that big room that our friends are in, and this room, and this tunnel, does it seem like we're moving back towards that other room, or are we going a different direction?
It looks like you're headed back toward the main room. Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Because if Zira starts feeling like we're moving farther away, she'd be like, we should probably turn around. Okay.
So you guys follow the passageway, and then it takes another left into another room.
So the whole time that she's stuck in a maze and she's gonna die in the tomb.
And when you kind of enter that room, it looks like you're looking at the back of a large stone block, not unlike the large bas-relief you'd seen in the room before.
Okay.
Up on a dais with two large pillars on either side of it. You can't see the bas-relief because you're actually behind it.
So we're on the other side of the big fancy door.
Yes.
Okay. I knock on the door.
Oh, it's not a. Oh, sorry. It's not a big fancy door. There. You travel through a hallway that opened up into this other room.
Okay.
And that big, that you're behind a large bas-relief.
What's a bas-relief?
It's kind of like raised carvings on stone, kind of like you would see if you were to go to. You could argue that the carvings of hieroglyphics in Egypt are a form of bas-relief, but usually bas-reliefs are more stylized.
Are we on the other side of the one that was in the room?
Of the room, what?
Okay, so the one that we are. You said we're behind one of them.
Yeah. It's not the main mezzanine room that you guys started in, and it's not the mezzanine room that you just came from. This is another room.
Okay. All right, I look around for, I presume, maybe another one of these key thingies.
Okay, so you come around the bas-relief.
Mm-hmm.
And what you can see, like, there are two hanging lanterns lighting a statue that's on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And the carving shows a dragon perched on top of the entrance to a crypt. And a robed person holding a staff is seen in the foreground, which appears to be directing 3 soldiers who bringing materials to the building.
Okay.
Go ahead and make a history check for me, please.
This will be fun. Oh, sweet, nat 20.
Ooh.
Not good at that shit at all.
The robed person.
Being a 21.
The robed person, you can easily tell is a dragon priest. And the entrance to the building, looks like the crypt to the very barrow that you're currently in.
Okay.
Cool. On a pedestal in front of the carving is another one of those hexagonal stones, about 1 foot in diameter, and it has the image of a half-built barrow carved into it.
Cool.
So you take it?
Yep.
Okay. There are 3 sarcophagi around this bas-relief.
We should just break all the sarcophagi we come across. Or put duct tape on them.
And they go to attack you guys. But before we get into that combat, I'd like to know what the others are doing.
Okay. So I want to search like more stuff around, like, you know, like, are we still like trying to open the door at like the upper part?
The door, you guys know, you can't open without the proper keys.
Okay. I'd say like shout out to like the 2 tiny ones down in the hole, like saying like, how's it going down?
They can't hear you; they're too far away.
Okay.
However, to the western portion of the room you guys are in, you do see kind of like a rough-hewn tunnel leads outward, or toward the west by about 20 feet before ending in a set of doors.
Okay.
The whole time.
And
yeah, it has.
Amrit, what do you think we should do? Because I'm not sure how the tiny ones are going right now, even though we actually can't fit in there.
You guys can fit. It's a tight fit, but you guys can fit through that passage.
Oh.
It's 5 feet tall by 5 feet wide.
We split up for nothing. Well, at least I got cool Zero time.
Yay!
Your new best friend.
We can either go after them if you are worried, or we can try the other door down this short passageway, or we can try the door on top of this mezzanine that is a little iffy.
Oh man. Well, I mean, that side is like coming out and be like, I am concerned about those children.
Or Daddy cares.
I do care. I'm Orc Dad. God, it's kind of a hard decision. But we can go to the door and see if there's anything else that we need to look out for.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys head toward the western door? Or eastern door, rather?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I do a perception check and see if there's any traps linked to it?
Sure, go for it.
Alright. Eight.
You don't see any traps? Nothing noticeable?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright. I open the door with my staff.
Okay. So you open it up, and you find yourself in a rough-hewn passage, heading left and heading right. There is there is a portion of the tunnel that kind of juts out on the right-hand side, but there's just barely enough space to squeeze through to get into the rest of the right-hand passage.
Ugh, my muscle can't handle it.
There's just enough room for you to be able to squeeze through it. So
okay. I guess.
Alright. Otherwise, you can head left, where there's plenty of room without having to squeeze through anything.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch the Khajiit by the tail.
Better not.
Catch the saber-toothed tiger by the toe then.
That seems dangerous.
Let's just go left.
That
So
seems better to me.
the non-cramped way first.
Move left.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I guess that'll be safer, right?
the left-hand passage goes on for maybe about 40 feet before it does continue onward and looks like it has a leftward bend. Otherwise, it has otherwise there's a right-hand branch to the passage. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to go left again or go right?
Wait, what?
Do you want to go left again or right?
Okay. Do both passages look the same?
The one to the left looks like it has another bend to it. The one to the right looks like it goes further before narrowing down to about 10 feet wide. And do orcs have dark vision? I can't remember.
They do, yeah.
Okay. It looks like you can just barely make out what appears to be some sort of statue in a room beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go there.
Are you sure about that?
I love statues.
I mean, it might come back to life. We never know.
Statues always lead the way.
In what culture?
My culture.
Well, I do
He's
have a
not
statue
wrong.
now, okay?
He's not wrong. The Altmer do like to immortalize their achievements.
All right, fine. We'll go with the place with the statue.
Okay. So you head into a large room. And on top of a dais framed by two pillars is a large stone bas relief, not unlike the ones the others have come across. It's a large block of almost black stone, about 6 feet wide by 8 feet tall by 1 foot deep. Vines have kind of broken through the stone walls behind the carving, covering part of the bas relief. And from what you can see, the carving shows a dragon flying overhead. And below the dragon is a man dressed in robes standing above a pile of bodies, raising a sword and surrounded by kneeling soldiers. Amrit, go ahead and make an intelligence history check for me.
Okay. That would be a non-natural 20.
Okay. The man in robes is definitely a dragon priest. And
Of course.
the ones kneeling around him are his followers, and the dragon above is the one that they worship. And you remember that dragon priests were powerful servants to the dragons many centuries ago. And so in front of the carving is a hexagonal stone, 1 foot in diameter, and it has the image of 4 wrapped bodies on it.
Okay. Are there any sarcophagi in here?
Not that you can see.
Okay. I want to study the bas relief first.
Okay.
Move the vine to see the whole thing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're able to move the vines and you see basically just the rest of the image.
Okay. And then I grab the key.
Okay. Nothing happens. There is another entrance into this room to your right, the southern portion of the room, about 10 feet wide. And it looks like it leads out into the rest of the rough-hewn passage beyond.
Okay. Shall we go this way, Juliana? Or do you want to backtrack and go the other way?
I mean, we could go the other way and see there, but I don't trust it that other way, so let's go take that door.
Okay.
So you guys head south and travel through the passageway. There's one brief moment where you guys kind of have to squeeze through a couple of rock pillars.
I assume that Narsis is following us?
Yeah. In fact, he's when you guys saw the bas-relief, he started jabbering. He's clearly, he's very clearly convinced that the character in the bas-relief is actually a hero and not a dragon prince, or not dragon prince, not a dragon priest,
Dragon Prince.
and that it must be telling the story of a valiant hero who vanquished his foes.
I whispered to Amrit, going like, make him stop.
I inform him that of the truth that this guy's a dragon priest.
I'm sure that's what you saw, but many of these bas-reliefs in ancient Nord rooms have been carved in such a way to make them difficult to discern their true meaning. And
That's right there.
And how many years have you studied medic design?
I've been studying them for a good 15 years. If you haven't read my other books, I do recommend you read them. And he even breaks out a couple copies of his other books, signs them, and hands them to you. Here, take these as something to remember me by when our adventure finishes here.
I am not going to say no to more books.
Nerd.
So the passageway continues west for a bit.
Question before you continue.
Mhm.
Are these books that Zoe does not have?
No, they're both books that Zoe has. These are his more bestsellers.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Kindling.
If you were going to give me books, that would have made my character so happy.
But kindling for our campfire.
Mm-hmm. I will read them.
So
And then you eat your brain.
further down that hallway, you come across another bas-relief. Again, it's also on a dais. Let's see. And you see that again, another portion that has vines kind of growing through the walls and covering small portions of it. And the pillars around it are collapsed, and you realize that that's part of the passageway from that you had initially seen. You can see through that gap that you'll be able to squeeze through it just fine, but it leads back to where you came from. And this one shows a dragon flying above a person dressed in robes. And this ornately dressed person is leading a march with 3 warriors following behind him. And in the background, there's a large mountain range, which the dragon and the people below are moving away from. Go ahead and do a history check.
Nat 20.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a nerd.
It's still the dragon priest, and it looks like he's being led by the dragon someplace. Narsis, meanwhile, is saying, the heroes must have embarked on another adventure. And he starts scribbling stuff down on his own sheaf of papers. He's like, clearly these bas-reliefs begin to tell a story. This is going to be quite interesting. And again, in front of the bas-relief is a hexagonal stone with the image of a mountain carved into it.
What was the image on the first one that I found?
The first one that you found was one with 4 wrapped bodies on it.
Okay. Are there any sarcophagi in here?
Nope. This is actually technically part of the hallway.
I take it.
Okay. And as you guys follow the hallway, it takes you back into that main room that you'd started from, and you realize you've got 2 of the keys.
Oh, cool.
All right. So, with the other 2, we've got a combat coming up, but I think it's a good time to take a bio break as we're about 2 hours in.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, alrighty. Then in that case.